The following half-hour show is a paid political program and is not endorsed by this station, management, or staff.
The following program is sponsored by Excalibur Insurance Management Services.
I always get the feeling, as old as I am, when I get to this show, our last show of the season, that it's like leaving school for the last time. You get your report card in grade school, we all remember, and you say goodbye to your friends, most of who you won't see for the summer, and always a little twinge of sadness when that day comes. But it is here, and this is, in fact, our last show. And who better to send off this show into the summer break than our very own Matt McGloin, who, as you're going to hear in the show, and I'll remind you now, was our very first guest over 10 years ago. And a lot has happened in Matt McGloin's life since the last time he was on this show. He's been elected a Lackawanna County Commissioner. He's in the Democratic majority. Secondly, he's just been elected to the National Board of Trustees of the Pennsylvania State University. No small feat for a 34-year-old young man to be on the board of directors of Penn State. And finally, and last but not least, he has been elected to go to the Democratic National Convention as he was one of the top vote getters in the 8th Congressional District in the election that took place in April. So, and by the way, he was named a finalist to the Sports Hall of Fame for Northeastern Pennsylvania. So I told him, I said, that's a heck of a month, and it was. It was a heck of a month he's had. And he'll be on today's show to discuss all those things and what prompted him to do the things he's done, and he has been successful at all of it. So with that, we welcome again Matt McGloin for our last show of this season, and we'll be back on September 8th, and I again hope you all have a wonderful, safe, and happy summer.
This is the Volpe Report, a weekly news and political interview show examining the latest local, state, and national issues with Chuck Volpe. Insightful, informative, controversial. The area's premier political talk show, the Volpe Report.
Matt, welcome back to the Volpe Report.
Thank you, Chuck. Good to see you.
I don't know. This has got to be 5, maybe 6 times, but I haven't said to you on air. I've said to you many times privately, congratulations on your election. You didn't start off in any, as I didn't expect you would, any small way, like school director, council, work your way up, and then county commissioner. You got right in, county commissioner. And won. You won a very contested primary, and of course, with Bill gone, you were the Democratic majority. So congratulations. So first question I ask most elected officials in their first term is, what does the rhetoric of a campaign and what you talked about doing, how does that change when you actually have to govern? Because you had an idea of issues, you had an idea of what you wanted to do. Now you have to do it.
Right.
What's the change?
Well, where to begin, to be honest with you, because like you said, I remember sitting right there. It was certainly a different set.
It was, yes.
At the time. You were on my right, and
yes,
God rest his soul, Jimmy McNulty
was
on my left, a great man.
Yeah.
And how fast that time has gone. And as we were talking a little bit before the show, I'll be married 7 years this June. Wow. We have a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old. Wow. So I don't know where the time goes, and I never believed anybody when they said it goes fast. So enjoy it.
Wait till you get to my age, Matt.
Try to slow it down. I'm trying to slow it down. But it's been good, and I'm really enjoying this new chapter of my life. And I believe I sat here a little over 2 years ago or so.
Yeah.
And we talked about
you were thinking about public office.
What
very
the next
candidly.
chapter could potentially look like. And I knew I wanted to be home. Right? My parents, thank God, are still in West Side. I grew up in the house my father grew up in. They're still there to this day. My father's 73. My mom just turned 71. Right. She won't be happy that I mentioned that just now. But
well, she looks 51, so she'll be happy I mentioned that.
I have a brother raising his family in Dunmore, another brother raising his family in Clark Summit. My wife's from Pittsburgh originally. Right. You know, we're surrounded by family, great family and great friends, and that's what was most important to me. And so when we were sitting here in 2022 and thinking about it, I knew I wanted to be home. I knew I wanted to help make a difference in my home. My parents instilled in me at an early age the importance of serving, being active in your community. And I knew running for county commissioner was the right choice for me. And sitting here today, looking back on it, I've always been one to trust my gut. And what I'm constantly thinking of and constantly going back to, I know that's the right decision. I've lived my life that way. And I've always kind of listened to myself when it comes to that. So I truly believe what I'm doing right now is what I'm supposed to be doing. And I love what I'm doing. I love the team we've assembled. I love working with the individuals that we work with in the county building every single day. I love meeting with the elected officials throughout our municipalities. I love interacting with the people of Lackawanna County. Why do you live here? Why do you want to live here? Why have you stayed here so long? What makes this area so special? And then also, what else do you want to see? Right. How do you want to see our area grow? What else can we do to help you? The door is open, right? I'm not picking on anybody prior to us, but I think, as you know, historically, that door has always been closed.
Yes.
Downtown.
Yeah.
Well, now it's open.
Right.
Come in, see us, voice your opinion, right? We need to be leaders who are vocal for those that don't have voices, right? That's what we're doing right now. That's
what public service
the
is
idea
supposed
of
to be.
serving. Absolutely. Part of the campaign, which was extremely, extremely difficult, but you had to.
Blood sport.
It is, and I'm a boots on the ground type of campaign person. Right, whether it's going from the Triborough area, Old Forge, Taylor, Moosic, through Scranton to Dunmore, up to the Valley, Archibald, Blakely, Jessup, German, Mayfield, up through Carbondale, wherever it was, I tried to get everywhere that I possibly can be, to shake somebody's hand, to say hello, to introduce myself. I'm Matt McGloin. I'm running for county commissioner. I would love your support. That's what I tried to do.
And you did it.
And fortunately we did it, and we were successful in doing so. And now to be in office almost 6 months or so, I don't think the mindset has changed for me in any way, shape, or form. We have a very proactive approach. We don't want to be reactive. We want to play offense. And as you know, I don't play defense.
Yeah, you're a quarterback.
I want to play offense. We want to move fast. We want to accomplish great things, and we want to continue to push forward. And I think myself, Commissioner Gaughan, and Commissioner Shermack as well, I think the three of us have really done that. I think we've gotten off to a really good and a really fast start here in Lackawanna County.
Well, one of the things I'm kind of enjoying watching, and I applaud you. I knew nothing about the decision-making process. I know nothing about why you did what you did. But you come right out of the gate, you acknowledge a problem that you had. And I did not realize, as many citizens of Lackawanna County didn't realize, that we were facing a deficit that we were facing in this county. You had to make a hard decision in effectively doing away with the Department of Health that was just created. I know those decisions don't come easy, but you did what you thought was the right thing. So, not knowing any of the details, and we don't have to, you've already spoken publicly on it, why you did what you did. In fact, I applaud your efforts to try to relocate many of those employees that lost jobs into other areas. But the department really wasn't carrying its own weight, and when you have a deficit, the things that are causing it have to be eliminated. But what I took from that was that you had the courage of your convictions, along with Commissioner Bill Gaughan, who I always admired in his public career and public service, all the way back to when he was president of Council of Scranton, and that you kind of took the bull by the horns and did the right thing. So I can say, from my view, the taxpayers in Lackawanna County are in good shape. And that gets back to where we started this conversation a little bit. There's the rhetoric of the campaign, and it's very idealistic, as it should be, and what you hope to do and what you think you're going to do, then you have to govern.
Yep.
It's like the football game. After the crowd goes, the stadium's empty, you're coming out after the shower and the press conference, and then you deal with the reality. You look up at the board, because usually the score is still up at the board. You won or you lost, and you look at what the ramifications that are, and then you go through after that, you make the adjustments you need to make, good or bad. So it's like that in politics. So, I've often heard, and I've had the pleasure of talking to many elected officials, especially early in their career, and they said the difference between what they said, including, let me just say, all the way to the highest office in the land, the President of the United States, President John F. Kennedy. I remember, in having read a lot about him, that one of his comments early on, what he thought he was getting into, even for the office of the presidency, and what was actually there, he said, you're never prepared. The candidate will never really know. No matter what you think you're getting into, then there's what's there.
Sure.
And now, is that your experience?
It is, and I never, you do your best to prepare for whatever situation you're in or whatever you're going to, public office or not, right? But you don't know until you're truly there. But I think the best part about those individuals that can succeed, they are the ones that can adjust rapidly on the fly. Right? They can do it. They can figure it out. They can make quick decisions. They can move on. They're good at interacting with their team. They're able to communicate with their team. They leave those lines of communication open at all times, right? It's not about, this or that. It's about respecting all the individuals around you, working with them on a daily basis, knowing you're a part of something bigger than yourself. And it's making every single decision with the people of Lackawanna County in mind, because that's who you work for. That's who you serve at the end of the day. You're right, though. We entered office on January 2nd. We had $19 million in unpaid bills. We had a $15.2 million structural deficit.
Yeah.
So
welcome to the party.
Chuck, we're at the point now where, literally we're lifting up the hood of the car and seeing what's there. Right. A management audit, an emergency audit, and really trying to, work with a firm that we've hired to put forth a 4 or a 5 year financial plan for our county, because for far too long, year in and year out, it's been, let's just get through this year. Let's just get through this year. Let's play kick the can down the road and make it somebody else's problem. Not anymore. We're not doing that anymore at Lackawanna County. We're going to fix the problem and we're going to figure it out, and that's what we're doing every single day. We've also have been dealing with a major crisis in Office of Youth and Family Services, and
of course, you inherited that.
We've shifted our public health focus now into a Family First Community Pathways program. We've adopted that program, one of the first in the state to do so, in our Human Services Department, that'll be able to help vulnerable children and families in our area to get them the services that they need so that they can be successful. It's something we've been working on for a long time. We've got a great team assembled. Barb Durkin has been our interim Human Services Director. She's done a fantastic job. And I just want to mention as well, I know I talked about team and you mentioned it a little bit earlier, but Chief of Staff Brian Jeffers has been doing a tremendous job for us.
No, Brian personally, he's a good man.
We've hired Pat McKenna as our communications director. Wonderful job he's done, a ton of experience. Kristen Magnata in our economic development department has done a wonderful job for us. Mark Cordelli, as you know Mark for a very long time, in our community relations department has done a fantastic job. And in fact, we've created something called Coffee with the Commissioners, where we're going around to the municipalities and sitting down with our local mayors or our council members. What's your problem? What's going on right now in your township or your borough or the city of Carbon or the city of Scranton? How can we help? What do you need from us as a county for us to make your lives better and for us to help you with your job on a daily basis? So these are the things that we're trying to do. Like I said, we like to move fast. I like to think we've got off to a great start here in the first 5 or 6 months or so. And our goal is to continue that pace.
Well, I applaud you on what you're doing, Matt, and Bill as the majority, and of course Chris. But your style of leadership, I thought you were uniquely qualified. To me, leadership comes down. There's 2 basic concepts to me of leadership. The one concept is where I will call it the more cautious type of leadership. I'm not a fan of it. But where I hate to say paralysis by analysis. You've heard that expression, but everything has to be already done in such a way that before you take that step, you're absolutely positively sure, you considered everything, and then when you think you're sure, you'll go back and redo it again. And then there's the other, which I subscribe to, the more successful, I believe, style of leadership. I mentioned John F. Kennedy once, and this is probably a good parallel to what I'm talking about. He was being questioned about his venture about putting a man on the moon in the early 1960s. We were lagging behind the space race with the Soviet Union in the Cold War. And he announced, we're going to send a man to the moon by the end of this decade and return him safely to Earth. Well, of course, he didn't live to see that, but we did in 1969 do just that. But the point of the story was he used this, and of course, he was famously Irish, and he talked about an Irish story he had heard about a group of Irish lads who had this, road that they had traveled on. And there was this wall as they were very young that they could never get over. And there was no way, because there were cliffs off the side, you couldn't get over the wall. And he tells a story about how one of them took his favorite Irish walking hat, threw it over the wall. And so someone asked, well, why would you throw your favorite hat over the wall? He said, because I'd be forced to go over and get it. So he climbed the wall and he figured a way to get over. And he said, of course, the president at the time, Kennedy, said, so we're throwing our hat over the wall of space. And they went and they did it. It could have taken 10 or 20 years to kind of map out how you were going to do it. And he just said, we're doing it. And I find a parallel, and I'm intending this as a compliment to you and how your whole, let's say, your personal athletic career went. You know, you had no chance to play a top Division I, top 10 type program at Penn State. You know, everybody told you, go to Lafayette, go to the Patriot League, you'll be a small school All-American or whatever, and you had a goal. And you threw your hat over the wall against the odds when people told you couldn't do it. Of course, the story ended well. You became the first walk-on at Penn State under Joe Paterno to ever become the starting quarterback at Penn State. You won the nation's highest award, I think, is the Burlsworth
Brandon Burlsworth Award.
Yeah, which is given to the most successful walk-on that went on to have a great career. And more importantly, how as Penn State would look back on that episode in your life, who better in the time of their darkest hour in 2012, when the crisis hit, when a few young men, like you were one of them, captains of the team, which you were, and leaders, while most of the top stars and athletes left Penn State because the NCAA begged them to, gave them for free pass out, you had All-Americans leave your team. You and I think, was it Mowdy and Mike Zordich?
Yeah.
Was it Mike Mowdy or Rich?
Well, Rich was his father, played for the New Orleans Saints, also a Penn Stater as well, but Mike Mowdy
was the
Mike
son,
Zordich,
right?
Yeah.
And Mike Zordich, the Mikes, and you stayed. And they, so and had a great year. You went 8-4, and are largely credited to this day with saving the program. So how it worked out that Penn State did the right thing. Then, of course, you go to the NFL. We talked about it on that show a long time ago. Undrafted. No, you can't make the NFL, and you get brought on as a camp arm effectively. And in the same season, in your rookie, you're the starting quarterback. I'm watching you play against the Dallas Cowboys on Thanksgiving Day and of many other games, of course. Your athletic career, which says something about you and your personality, has been epitomized by throwing your hat over the wall and then go get it. So, which is a nice segue now, because as we've talked about, your local political and your elected office, which is your first responsibility, your day job, so to speak, you've already sought and achieved higher office. You're not even there 6 months. Now, what could be higher office than county commissioner? Well, honestly, there's nothing higher than being elected as a young man, so young as you are, to the Board of Trustees of Penn State University. And as you and I talked off air, that's not even a statewide office. I said a national office. You said no, worldwide office, and you're right. There's Penn State alumni all over the world, and they all vote, and you were elected to that office. So, congratulations.
Thank you.
And first of all, what led you to want to take that jump, and then how are you successful at it?
So I think it's a lot of things, and I love the throwing of the hat story as well. It reminds me a lot of the burning of the ships. That old story, you're going to war, you get off the boats, they burn the ships. There's no way for you to retreat now.
Right.
The only way to go is forward.
Yeah.
That's it. And it's a mindset. It really is. And going back to those dark times at Penn State, one of the darkest periods any university to ever face, we actually adopted 2 quotes that we lived by, and I still use to this day, because I think that athletic background really translates well to what I'm doing now.
You're a competitor.
We used Ignore the Noise and Charlie Mike, and you might be familiar with Charlie Mike. It's military code for continue mission.
Yeah, no,
right? Ignore the noise.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Charlie Mike.
Ignore everything.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. Focus on what you're doing. Control what you can control. Keep marching forward. And Charlie Mike, continue mission.
Yeah.
Things are going well. Continuing my mission. Things aren't going well. It's okay. I'm going to continue my mission.
Right.
And I think that holds true to a lot of what I'm doing today. We keep marching forward. Ignore the noise on the outside, and keep going. But I think I wanted to run for the Board of Trustees ever since I left Penn State. This isn't a brand that you wear for 4 years or 5 years or just for the short amount of time that you're there. You wear it for the rest of your life now.
We are.
It's absolutely,
We
it's
are.
part of who you are. I learned more, I think, about life during those times at Penn State than I ever did about football. And I was fortunate to have great leaders, Joe Paterno, Bill O'Brien. You know, I like to say I got the best of both worlds. A man, Paterno, who taught you about family, about life after football, going to class, right? Getting your education, working towards your degree, worrying about the next 40 or 50 years of your life. And if you become a good football player, well, that's just a bonus as well.
Exactly right.
And then I got a doctorate in football by a guy by the name of Bill O'Brien.
An offensive genius.
This was a university that gave me an opportunity that no one else wanted to give. Right. As you said, I walked on at Penn State. Nobody else wanted me. Nobody else saw anything in me. Penn State did. Joe Paterno did. They wanted me to come to be a part of that program, be a part of that university. This is now my way of saying thank you and giving back and serving. And I mentioned it earlier. It's a fantastic board to be a part of. You know, we want to be able to help our Commonwealth campuses. One right here in Scranton, and they do a wonderful job. It's a beautiful campus. We want to ensure that our students are set after they graduate, that they have the skills necessary to go on to succeed in life. And you know, I mentioned Joe Paterno. You know, I want to help restore some of the legacy that Joe Paterno left behind, and not just Joe, but Sue. And she's dedicated her life to philanthropy and doing some wonderful things down at Penn State. So there's a lot of things I want to help bring to the board and help accomplish at that board. You know, but for me, Penn State, that university, is a big, big part of who I am. I look forward to, and I start my term on July 1st there with the university. So I look forward to working with those individuals on the board and serving and giving back again to a school that gave me, in a lot of ways, the life I have right now.
Now, you've just been elected county commissioner. You have a lot in front of you, a lot of difficult decisions you've had to make, and a tough challenge. You engage in getting elected at a very young age to the Board of Trustees of one of the greatest universities in the world, obviously, and most famous, Penn State University. And while you apparently had enough time with your family duties and being a husband and a father of young children, you decide to throw your hat in the ring in a congressional race much larger than Lackawanna County. A congressional race is like 5 or 6 counties. In the 8th Congressional District, you decide to run for delegate to the Democratic National Convention. And you win. You win a seat to that, one of the top vote getters in a very crowded race. It's a great accomplishment. Obviously, I know you didn't do any formal campaigning or anything. You just threw your hat in the ring, and so you managed to do well. So for all of your potential political like rivals out there and all that, you've set the bar pretty high. You've kind of served notice now that you're going to be a force. And I don't know if you remember, you mentioned that show 2 years ago. I got about 3 or 4 phone calls right after that show aired on that Sunday. What's Matt running for? Because you were very vague, but you had scared the life out of everybody. And I have a feeling now with your successes in a national, effectively a national election, you now won in a congressional district. Yeah. So that what's next for Matt McGloin? You've set the bar. Well, but let me get back to why'd you run for delegate?
Yeah, well, yeah, a few things there to unwrap a little bit. I was actually approached to run for delegate.
Oh, okay. All right.
And I said absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think for me too, it's understanding just how important Lackawanna County really is. Sure. Right, not just in this presidential race, but Bob Casey's race, obviously Matt Cartwright's race, and the counties that the District 8 touches. So, and again, it goes back to being active and serving and being involved and helping out in any way that I can to ensure that, you know, the people that you know we're supporting, Joe Biden, Bob Casey, Matt Cartwright, continue to win and continue to be successful too. So that was one of the reasons why I ran. In that race, but going back, like I said, you know, I remember sitting here in 2022. I said I remember sitting here over 10 years ago or so, and just how fast time goes. One of the important things that I always think of is the decisions that I make. How will it impact my family? Right. Because that is the number one thing on my list, more than anything.
Right.
So how will it impact my wife? How will it impact our 2 boys, right? One of the major reasons why I ran for commissioner, because I knew I had the opportunity to wake up in the morning, make breakfast for my family, my children, drop my oldest off at school, pick up my oldest or my youngest at the end of the day, be home at a decent hour, right? Play outside, have dinner, bath time, bedtime, and do all that.
Wait till you start mixing in with your busy schedule already when you're going to start coaching them in baseball and basketball.
Saturdays.
Football.
I do it on Saturdays. I do it on Saturdays. I do it on Saturdays. But I know, and, you know, I was fortunate to where I had the chance to kind of take some time off after football ended to really sit and think about what the next chapter of my life would potentially look like. And I knew I didn't want to miss out on the early days. Because like you said, it goes fast. And my mother had always said to me, whatever you do in life, don't have any regrets. And I didn't want to, I just turned 34 in December. I didn't want to be 54 and look back and say, I regret not spending more time at home. I regret missing baseball games or soccer games.
You don't get a do-over, Matt.
So that is what I didn't want. I didn't want to do that. And with the position I'm in right now, I can be the father and the husband that I want to be every single day. And I'm lucky to be able to do that. Now, I wish I had a crystal ball, but I don't. All right? And I say it all the time. So what the future holds, I don't know, right? But what I will say is I'm a big believer in preparation, meeting opportunity. So if I don't do my job as a commissioner every single day, then there will not be an opportunity to do anything else in years to come. So that's my mindset right now, is to be the absolute best county commissioner that I can be on a daily basis, to work with my team as best I can on a daily basis, to give the residents of Lackawanna County 100% every single day, to make their lives easier, to make Lackawanna County the very best place to live, to work, and to raise a family, and do some really, really incredible things here. So that's the approach that I take. I hope that makes sense.
It does, and I will say, having been a lifelong Democrat, 45 years, having run for governor of this great Commonwealth as a Democrat, that, as you know, and you and I have talked, how I left the party because I felt that it had lost its way. I think there's a far left, radicalized segment, progressive segment that's taken it over. But it'll always return to its moorings. But I've often said to you that I hold a great deal of hope for the Democratic Party's future in returning to being what I believe it has lost its way on, and that's working families, people that carry a lunch pail to work, the middle class, not big tech, not Hollywood, not university college radicals screaming death to America.
Chip on your shoulder, blue-collar mentality.
Exactly right. And you'll help return the party to its bearings. If I'm old enough and still alive, maybe I'll return someday. Well, Matt, congratulations on all of your successes for taking time. This is my last show, I think, our audience, and I'll tell them again. Regrettably, or in my case, I need to break. I'll be off for this summer. We'll be back September 8th, which is the Sunday after Labor Day. So we look forward. And Matt, in that time, you've just been named, I think I should add, another honor that has come your way. You've been named a finalist to the Northeast Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Fame. Right. So congratulations on that. I have no doubt you'll be successful.
Thank you.
As you seem to be in everything.
I appreciate
Good luck.
that. Thank you. Thanks for having me once again.
Thanks, Matt. Pleasure.
All right. Thank you.
We'll see you September 8th, folks.